Ethan Klein of the H3 podcast dropped a video revealing that he will be suing 3 creators for their reactions to his content nuke that he put out a few months back. Specifically, streamers Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron. His reason for this being is that he argues they maliciously stole his IP and directed viewers away from his content, acting as a market substitute for the video. Playing clips of them saying things like if you enjoyed it not giving that shitty video views, or referencing watching the video ethically through their channels instead of Ethan's. A lot of H3's fans came out in support of this, but this has turned a group of people off of Ethan, mentioning that the old Ethan would be absolutely disgusted by this, and that the people he's suing all fell under fair use, or that it just sets a bad precedent in general, as well as some claiming that this obviously isn't a suit to protect his copyright, but rather to scare people against him from covering or reacting to his content. Of course, Ethan does address some of these points in his original video, but some say they just don't buy that's his intent. Welcome to the internet versus H3's content nuke lawsuit. It starts when Yeet tweets out, Ethan Klein talks about why he's suing Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron specifically, claims they reacted in malicious ways to siphon views from his content nuke. Ethan also wants to fix the React meta on Twitch, pointing out that major companies like Sony and Disney could swoop in one day and easily nuke it, attaching this clip.
Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hasan Piker content nuke with the United States Library of Congress, even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars. But the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
These creators feel comfortable looking right into a camera and saying outright, hey, I'm stealing this guy's content. And with people like Hasan reacting to entire TV shows on stream, my fear is that Sony or Disney comes along, sues everybody, and sets a devastating precedent that could endanger our entire field.
Wick TV replies, React content was always the worst type of content, to be honest. Lazy, unimaginative slop. That said, I am always happy when people react to my stuff, so maybe there's a balance to be struck. Carl says, let's all thank Hasan for ending React content. Darkside Phil quote tweets the post and says, there are entire channels making bank by stealing/live rebroadcasting my content without making it transformative. They outright ask for contributions to do so. If this lawsuit goes through, I am going to be rich, and many are going to be in trouble. McBeeg replies, you beg for money daily. You couldn't afford a court-appointed attorney. Rainier says, you're not going to win anything, Phil. You're retarded. Dexerto Knox tweets out another portion of the Ethan Klein video, this time with the caption, Ethan Klein reveals he created his content nuke video to bait Hasan into watching it so he could sue him for copyright. Because Hasan never finished the video after spending 9 hours reacting to half, Ethan is suing 3 smaller female streamers instead.
What if I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist, they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published?
I don't have an issue with them.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video. It's that I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. Now, the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. That's 30 times her regular viewership. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intentions couldn't be clearer. Here's an excerpt from a stickied post from the Snark subreddit. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch the nuke without showing support for H3. Here's a list of creators who've supported our sub, either by engaging with us directly or citing our post in their critique of H3. Here they're offering these streamers as market substitutes for my work. But how do you get the streamers themselves to admit that they're stealing content?
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here,
It turns out they just do it for you.
Can't Ever Die replies, oh wow, he is actually an insane psychopath. MG's2 Master says, so let me get this right. He admits that this was a honeypot so he can entrap people to sue. Additionally, he is selectively choosing who he sues. Yes, this will go well in court since all of this is on tape. Dude is a psychopath. And Jonathan says, so if I have a tracker on my bike and some dipshit steals it, then I set a honeypot and entrapped them. You're fucking dumb. And MGS says, are you stupid? Dude literally admits it, and yet you run defense for him. And Jonathan says, he admits to knowing that the bike would likely get stolen, hence why he put a tracker on it. He didn't say, hey dipshit, come take my bike so I can sue you. They stole the bike on their own. And MGS says, yeah, you're stupid. This argument doesn't even remotely compare. No need to continue this farther. Caseytron replies to the clip by saying, this is crazy. Pro Gamer Johnny says, they're horrible people, so I kinda don't care. Can't Ever Die then quote tweets the clip and says, I'm not a legal expert, but posting a video admitting you intentionally targeted specific creators and that you laid all of this out as a trap seems like it would lead to an automatic loss, right? Girl Boss Woman says, unfortunately, entrapment only works as a criminal defense, not a civil defense. This is going to be a multi-year lawsuit that even if Klein fails, he could very well bankrupt them, which is his goal. There's very few legal protections against this when a rich decides to wage lawfare. Jacob replies, I mean, it does kind of sound like entrapment to me. And Can't Ever Die says, just notice that the word trap is in the word entrapment. Queen in Yellow replies saying, nah, he's cooked, attaching this tweet they made of an interaction between Ethan and his producer Dan from about 2 years back, with Ethan talking about his IP.
Okay, here's to all the industrial entrepreneuring spirits out there. I am opening our IP to the world. This is a message with peace and love.
You can now make your own H3 podcast. That's right, everyone.
I guess you could.
What you mean?
That's not what I mean.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not what I mean. No.
Gotcha.
You can't make a fake H3 podcast, although you probably could actually, because I don't think anyone would mistake it.
I mean, if it's a parody, you can do whatever
I
you
don't
want.
think anyone would mistake it. So our IP is open. I got inspired by Hasan. He has the Hasan Industrial Complex. So I want the Ethan Industrial Complex. I think it's a good idea. I like it. And it's actually crazy how like many people are seemingly making a decent living from having their own clips channels of him. So if you want to cut up clips from the podcast, from our members live, from anything with me in it, go for it, man. Monetize it. I will not claim. I will not remove. I will not do anything. I mean, to be fair, it's basically been my policy. I don't claim or remove anything really at all.
But now you're making it explicit.
Yeah.
Ethan Klein responds to this post on his Instagram story when Neat tweets out this continued clip with the caption, Ethan provides the rest of the clip and context for the Hasanabe Twitter drones that have been spreading misinfo.
I'll remove something is like if it's just a wholesale re-uploading of like an episode. And we used to have that big problem. We were on Twitch. If you're re-uploading just full VODs, then that you cannot do. If you're cutting highlights, yes. If you're just re-uploading a video, that's stupid. Obviously. Yeah.
Maga Comatose quote tweets the original Dexterdonox post that we looked at, with this meme in the caption, how the turns have tabled, showing Ethan and Hila looking at Matt Haas, with Ethan and Hila saying, we're going to react to this loser's video, and Matt saying no, referencing the lawsuit against Ethan where Matt tried to sue them, and the second part showing Caseytron, Frogan, and Denims, also saying, we're going to react to this loser's video, and then now Ethan saying no. Byron replies, there's a massive difference between reacting, what the Kleins did, and verbatim, literally word for word, in your own words, creating a market substitute for the original content. Poppy replies, that is always what reacting does. Hasan himself quote tweets Dexterdonox and says, washed up old YouTubers will do anything instead of taking some time off and going to therapy. Caseytron replies, 42 bong hits was crazy of me, not gonna lie. Like, I think I do deserve to be commemorated, but a plaque or trophy would have been more appropriate than a lawsuit. At H3 Productions, at Ela Klein, at Teddy Fresh. Sixth Castle replies to Hasan by saying, old is a crazy thing to call someone who's like 5 years older than you. Baked Grizz replies, I thought Hasan was all about communism, so he should just share his wealth with them to help with legal fees, as is the communist way. It's quite capitalist of him to tell his fans to donate so that he doesn't dip into his own massive wealth. And Yeehaw says, Jesus Christ, you thought this was clever, huh? Ethan himself then replies to Dexterdonox on his Instagram by saying, I was never going to sue Hasan because I asked him to react to it. That's a presumed license. And anyway, his usage is obviously fair use. Actually, the best example of it. I specifically sued these three because their malicious statements to act as a market market substitute. Pretty obvious. Knowingly lying is of course part of their propaganda efforts. Matt tweets out, I'm normally not a fan of people being sued in revenge, but holy fuck, Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron are so abhorrently terrible that it's going to be very entertaining watching this copyright lawsuit by Ethan Klein. Hope he wins and changes the standard of reaction content. The reveal that he copyrighted the nuke before putting it out was a fucking genius chess move as well. I was shocked when he revealed it. An Ethan Klein parody account tweets out, y'all thought I was playing? Well, your time is up, and if you have a problem with it, you're next. I'm suing these 3 creators, attaching Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron, and Casey Tron replies by saying, well, I'm suing you too, and the parody account says, sue these nuts. Mike from PA quote tweets the parody account by saying, lol, what a total fucking loser, Lamau. Kobe replies, this is a parody account. Pretty embarrassing for you. How can anyone ever believe or trust you when you are so easily tricked? And Mike replies, the video is real. Mike from PA then follows up his original post by saying, I'm laughing at the video Ethan made. I don't care that this post is from a parody account. Sick on Chain tweets out, can someone remind me why Ethan Klein is suing Denims but not XQC again? The content nuke is 1 hour 44 minutes. XQC's reaction is 2 hours 30 minutes. Denims' reaction is 3 hours 55 minutes. Both creators uploaded the entire VOD. They didn't. Scoob replies, I suggest watching the video as that is explained at length. Deep End of the Wet Spot says, malicious intent. Jabul replies, because the copyright owner has authority over their work. Poppy says, because XQC wasn't critical. Just Left of Center Right replies, Arab woman. That's it. He's a misogynistic Islamophobe. Shamu tweets out, the lawsuits Ethan Klein has weaponized in his retard war with Hasan is bad for the space. I think Frogan gets like 200 viewers live. If it was Hasan suing small creators out of malice, people in the H3 camp would be losing their minds. Kinocopter replies, suffer small creators. Augie RFC says, I'm mostly worried about jokes or insults getting ard. I've watched people's stuff before and made the joke of, haha, let's steal their viewers and watch it on my stream so many times. Junk Drawer Gaming replies to Augie by saying, this has the potential to set a bad legal precedent for React content in the future. 99% of the commentary space is React content. Dark Viper wanted to sue Chud for copyright and we all mocked him. How is this any different? Knight's Kitten replies to Augie by saying, if you do React content ethically and within fair use, you will be fine. If you're ever toying with statements like, haha, let's steal this person's viewership, you are probably a brain-dead moron that deserves to get sued. And Hody replies, React ethically is completely subjective. Transformative content is determined legally on a case-by-case basis. This is such cope. I'm genuinely concerned for the welfare of people actually falling for this threadbare pretense for filing malicious grudge lawsuits. And Unstabler replies, they're literally on video saying watch the nuke on my channel so Ethan doesn't get money from your views. How do you walk around without shame after saying such things? Beckett quote tweets Shamu and says, the chatter around the Ethan lawsuit is why you can never take anyone interacting with online politics seriously. The second it's against someone they hate, they'll excuse or defend whatever. People seriously sweeping for this suit are completely cracked. Queeman tweets out, Ethan Klein claims he would only sue for copyright infringement if the infringer met an incredibly high bar. To demonstrate this, he claims that he wanted to catch people reacting to an irresistible piece of prepared content. So why does his lawsuit against Denims cite the livestream before the nuke? Surely this is just about defending copyright. He also registered the stream with the Library of Congress, attaching this image highlighting a section of the case where it says the H3 Show 105 Countdown to Doomsday Countdown episode. Also then attaching this image showing that it is registered in the Library of Congress. Goblin replies, it seems to say right there that she expressed intent to infringe on that stream. I mean, he announced the nuke ahead of time, no? You gotta give up the whole legal commentary thing. You and J-Stalk fucking suck at it. And Queeman replies, wrong. It's cited in the claim for relief. It's not simply demonstrating her intent. Attaching this image of the first claim for relief for direct copyright infringement against Denims, showing that TEI registered its copyrights to the Countdown episode and the nuke with the USCO, along with that they didn't grant any license, authorization, or consent for Denims to exploit the Countdown episode or the nuke in any manner. Rather, Denims' group viewing session of the Countdown episode and the nuke consisted in unauthorized reproduction, public performance, and derivative work of the Countdown episode and the nuke in violation of TEI's rights, as set forth in 17 U.S.C. Section 106, saying then that they suffered damages, and that due to the acts of copyright infringement, Denims obtained profits she would not have realized but for her infringement of TEI's copyrights in the Countdown episode and the nuke, then saying that the infringement was done maliciously, willfully, intentionally. Knight's Kitten replies, his high bar was not to do with whether the content was prepared, it was whether they 1. Violated fair use, and 2. Did so maliciously. He made that explicitly clear at the end of the video. When talking about the nuke, he only refers to the long-form nature of it to suggest it's the perfect bait, not to say it's only morally wrong to violate fair use on a prepared video. The Surfs tweets out, Ethan Klein of just a few years ago would be completely disgusted with the Ethan Klein of today, suing multiple women critical of him who have smaller audiences so he can try and get away with bankrupting them in the process. Does he not realize his original content nuke is loaded with other people's content that he's reacting to? That he depends on fair use protection to make a claim in the first place that he transformed their content and owns the new product as original IP? Willie Maxshow replies, bro, just say you don't understand fair use and stay out of the conversation. And Nicholas DiOrio says, this tweet from him that you're responding to is actually so embarrassing because he's like a content creator. This is literally the bare minimum knowledge he should possess. Sandy Balls replies to Willie by saying, does fair use include when the original publisher admits he set up a trap to sue creators? And Willie says, Lomafau, the trap is knowing that these people don't abide by fair use laws. Tectone reacts to this situation when he tweets out this clip with the caption, Tectone wants to join the Ethan Klein lawsuits.
And Denim's the queen.
Yeah! Oh, shit, dude! Oh, shit! Hey, yo, Ethan. On everything. If you somehow see this, if you get me in contact with your lawyers, bro, I'll do it too. Hit me up. Finding lawyers that'll do this is the hardest part. If you got lawyers, I will do that shit too. Hit my ass up, bro, please.
He then replies to the clip by saying, on God, Ethan, I swear on my bald ass head. Get me a lawyer. I'll hop in the action. And Cameron F305 replies, if you're really down, I can help make this happen. Gamma quotes the clip and says, Tectone must actually be retarded. How does he expect to join a lawsuit over what Ethan argues is blatant IP infringement? IP infringement that's obviously meant to target people he specifically wants to strong arm into financial ruin? Is he gonna sue Clippers, Shamu? And the little owl replies, how does he expect to join a lawsuit that isn't even about his own video? Lizard Druid posts on the LeftoversH3 subreddit, maybe the 24-hour live stream of the nuke on Twitch wasn't a good idea, attaching this image saying license to Twitch and other Twitch users, where it says, when you provide user content on Twitch, you grant us the rights and permissions described in this section to make your user content available to the world and let others do the same. If features that give other Twitch users the ability to use or share your user content off of Twitch are turned on for your account, then you also grant other Twitch users the rights and permissions described in this section to enable them to share your user content. And they follow up their post by saying, but I'm no big city lawyer. Pichu replies laughing, saying, bro is just stepping on every rake at this point. And Freakin' Recipe replies with this gif. Forest to the Sea says, this seems like something a very experienced lawyer who's the expert of copyrights would have looked into. One would think. And Pocket Cone says, that would require Ethan to have told a lawyer about the Twitch stream. And Electronic Feed says, my lawyers can't do fucking shit. And Sir Stinky Man says, I don't think ChatGPT has assimilated with Twitch TOS yet. That's too bad. Yagua Fungi replies, hey, Brian O'Conan, I'm genuinely curious how this interacts with his registering the copyright, since as I've said, I have no idea, and you are now the one I trust on this. And Brian O'Conan replies, I like this. It's like the bat signal. As always, this is not legal advice, just my personal opinion. In a nutshell, this is Twitch covering their ass. It's very unlikely to impact this case. You don't cede your copyrights by simply uploading content to Twitch. Copyrights are fundamental federal rights, and there's a specific process for dealing with ownership, licensing, etc. If a terms of service agreement clashes with copyright law will win. But Twitch's TOS complies with the DMCA, so that's not even an issue here to begin with. Twitch needs a license agreement like this to even exist, because they're a platform featuring content published by users. It's a legal minefield as a business model. There's this whole aspect of copyright law called second copyright infringement, but that's another comment for another day. Just look at the section just below the screenshotted portion. B, user content representations and warranties. 2A says that by publishing content to Twitch, you are asserting that you had permission and did not violate someone's copyrights, among other things. Additionally, section 14, respecting copyright, Twitch has a process for handling DMCA notices for infringing content featured on their site. Sorry to once again be the bearer of bad news, but the screenshotted section basically just means Ethan can't sue Twitch for their users violating his copyright, because the Twitch user agreement passes the liability onto its users and makes them responsible for what they publish. If anyone has any specific questions, I'll do my best to answer, but I literally just read the Twitch terms of service today for the first time in order to respond to this. Then the three named in the lawsuit each make their own individual tweets, with Frogan saying, Ethan Klein is suing me for reacting to a video about myself. I have made a GoFundMe to raise funds for my legal defense, attaching a link to the GoFundMe. Denims also makes a tweet saying, it's 2025 and Ethan Klein is suing creators for fair use. Legal defense fund below, stream coming soon, image unrelated, attaching this image from the hot dog car sketch where he says, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. The Quartering replies to Denim saying, you're going to lose. Badly. Cam Nugget says, we watched the video, you numbnuts. You broke almost every criteria of fair use. You You're a lazy thief. And Byron says, the funniest thing in the fucking world is watching Denim's backpedal on her, oh yeah, I'll handle it out of pocket bullshit. Caseytron also tweets out, Ethan Klein is going to sue me for smoking too much weed. He is trying to take away my ability to purchase my medically necessary marijuana products. We cannot let this happen. Donate to my weed fund, live on stream now. Let's show the clients how to really goof and gaff. I started a GoFundMe for legal funds. And at the time of this recording on the 20th of June at 2:07 p.m., Caseytron has raised $1,411 of donations for her $100,000 goal. Denims has raised $7,351 and Frogan has raised $3,057. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko and Salsad. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.